Welcome to the Fear Chronicles, false evidence appearing real, where we are covering real stories for navigating burnout, bold moves, and becoming your best self. I'm your host, Natasha Agha, private practice strategist, mother of two, and recovering perfectionist. This is the space where we get honest about the pivots, the pressure, and the purpose behind it all. If you're navigating life transitions, career shifts, motherhood, or learning to trust yourself again, you're in the right place. Let's dive in. Welcome to this three-part series where we are going to break down a topic that I find truly fascinating to talk about. Now, I will do my best to not get into the weeds about things. I find this incredibly important because this is what I discovered to be the foundation of identity work and goal setting and ultimately achievement. When you're on this journey of becoming her, the best version of yourself, the one that is a match to your big goals, the one that can hold all things in life going well, not waiting for the other shoe to drop, no longer self-sabotaging outcomes, the one that is confident in knowing that you got this. You are capable and you trust yourself, your decisions, and your vision for your future life. So everything is connected. These episodes aren't random. So if you haven't gone back to earlier episodes, I would recommend to go back and start with episode 11. So this podcast was essentially created after I was doing weekly Instagram lives, which was about my story from burnout to breakthrough. These are now the first 10 episodes of the podcast. So episodes 1 through 10. So if they sound different from the other episodes, that's why. While recording these Instagram lives, I realized I had more that I wanted to talk about and I wanted to share in a more personalized way. And that was when this podcast was born. So if we go back to what I will call the first true dedicated episode of the podcast, which is episode 11, Watch Your Language, we talked about the inner critic. Then in episode 12, we talked about redefining success. And then in episode 20, we talked about the fastest way to become her, which is through embodiment. These are all precursors to this three-part series about frequency. We are now tying this all together to make it all make sense. Have you ever thought about someone and then that person texts or calls you? Have you ever thought about something and then later on that very thing or event happens? These things are not a fluke. They are on the same frequency. So just think about your phone number. It's a certain frequency. In order for someone to call or text you, that person has to match the same frequency, which in this case is your phone number, to reach you, right? Same goes for music. Music is a frequency. Different songs or genre of music can emit different emotions. Why is that? Because they are different frequencies. Your thoughts are frequencies as well. This is why it's so incredibly important to be aware of your thoughts because this plays a huge role in our frequency throughout the day. Now, think of cause and effect. So I want you to think from left to right. Your emotions are different frequencies, which your thoughts become a match to. So it starts with the emotions to the thoughts to the frequency. A thought. So the language that you're using, whether that's the self-talk when you talk to yourself or what you actually say to others, is tied to an emotion, which lands in a frequency. So the emotion or thought is typically from what we know, a reference point. When we don't know or have that reference point, it is unknown, right? And usually it will be a negative thought or language or emotion because that's just how our brains are wired. Joy or happiness is also a frequency. Anger, guilt, and shame are also different, or in this case, lower frequencies. If you think about lower frequencies or the less desirable emotions compared to higher frequencies, what actions would be coupled with those emotions? Would you act or maybe not act from a place of fear? Or would you take bold, swift, courageous actions? This is something I would encourage you to sit for a few minutes and reflect on this after this episode. There's so much more to dive into, but this is just an overview to start the conversation. With that, I want to do a fun experiment with music just because I love music. So, some of you may know this song and others may not. So, I'm going to show my age here a little bit. I picked this song for a specific reason. I want you to get on YouTube or Spotify, wherever you stream music, and search for this song. It is called Mbop, and it's by the group Hanson. So, for reference, this song came out and I listened to it on repeat for like ever. And for those of you that are old enough, I also had the CD, and that was like the only song I listened to. The point of this experiment is this: even if you don't like the song, it's catchy and it can be annoying, it's about the frequency and the motion that I want you to look for. It's very unlikely that you will feel anything besides some type of increase in your mood and essentially your frequency. So, I would love to hear how you felt or what emotions you had after listening to this song. Do you feel a change in your mood, a pep in your step? Did you find it catchy and stuck in your head all day? Let me know so you can share with me on Instagram at Natasha Agha Consulting or comment below. And also, I always want to offer my 2-minute Are You the Bottleneck quiz to find out who or what is slowing down your progress. Again, it's fast, fun, eye-opening, and I will link that below as well. Thanks for joining me on the Fair Chronicles. If this episode resonated with you, I'd love for you to like, comment, or share with someone who needs it. Want more support? Check out the links below for free resources, workshops, and how to work with me. Remember, bold moves start with small shifts. You've got this, and I've got you.